Have you ever felt that oversharing could be sabotaging your own successes? Have you considered that by sharing your plans you might be diluting their strength? Consider the possibility that by choosing what to reveal and what to withhold, you are sculpting your destiny. Today we will analyze how the art of discretion can be the shield and the sword in your journey towards self-realization and success. At the end of this video, you will take away tools that will enhance your ability to protect your energies and focus your efforts toward achieving your most significant goals. In the information age, where sharing every detail of our lives has become almost a second instinct, the idea of withholding information can seem counterintuitive, if not radical. However, within the ancient wisdom of Stoicism lies a less discussed but profoundly powerful principle: the value of discretion. This principle suggests that, in reality, there are aspects of our lives, especially those related to our most ambitious plans, our deepest insecurities, and our personal strategies, that gain from being held close to our chest. As we delve into the heart of this approach, we discover that it is not about fostering mistrust or secrecy without reason, but about protecting our energy, maintaining focus, and cultivating resilience in the face of adversity. The practice of selective sharing not only safeguards us from potentially demotivating outside influences but also allows us to navigate our lives with renewed clarity and purpose. So, as we explore the 9 essential things we should consider keeping for ourselves, we embark on a journey that transcends the simple act of not sharing. It is a journey towards the discovery of how silence and internal reflection can become tools of personal empowerment, allowing us to chart our paths with greater determination and less distraction. On this journey, we invite you to reflect, question and, finally, integrate this Stoic wisdom into your daily life. Together, we will discover how the art of discretion can be one of the greatest gifts we give to ourselves and our futures. Welcome to a journey into the heart of inner strength, where every secret kept is a step toward authenticity and personal achievement. If this is your first time on the channel, I encourage you to subscribe, click on the bell and like the video. Your support is essential to continue growing and creating quality content like this. Thing number 1. Your long-term goals. On the journey of life, each of us carries within us a compass that points towards our most ambitious dreams, towards those long-term goals that drive us to get up every morning. These aspirations, like distant stars in the firmament of our existence, guide our steps in the darkness, offering glimpses of hope and direction on the path to self-realization. But have you ever stopped to think about the importance of keeping these celestial directions in the most intimate part of your being? Sharing our long-term goals can feel like an act of openness and trust, a bridge to human connection. However, by revealing the map of our dreams, we also expose our routes to the elements, the storms of doubt, the winds of criticism, and the shifting tides of outside opinion. These phenomena, although often born of well-intentioned intentions, can throw our internal compass off course, leading us down paths that lead away from our true destiny. Why, then, would we choose to keep our long-term goals to ourselves? The answer lies in the power of introspection and concentration of energies. By keeping our deepest aspirations in the sanctuary within, we strengthen the connection with our most authentic self. This act of reserve is not an exercise in isolation, but rather a practice of protection and focus. Like the gardener who tends his seeds in a greenhouse, protecting them from the elements until they are ready to bloom. So we must tend to our goals until they are firmly rooted in the reality of our capabilities and ready to be shared with the world. This introspective approach invites us to reflect: how many times have we adjusted our dreams by listening to the opinions of others? How many goals have been abandoned on the side paths of doubt and uncertainty, sown by voices that do not fully understand our vision or our motivations? The wisdom of holding our long-term goals close to our chest is a recognition that, in stillness and privacy, our aspirations can germinate in fertile soil of self-confidence and determination. By choosing when and with whom we share our most cherished dreams, we give ourselves the ability to select true allies on our journey, those who will offer tailwind to our sails rather than anchors to our progress. This careful and deliberate selection of confidants is like drawing a circle of stones around a newly lit flame, protecting it until it is strong enough to light the night on its own. So, wouldn't it be wise to consider our long-term goals as hidden treasures, jewels that should only be shown when they can shine in their maximum splendor? The answer, rooted in the heart of Stoicism, is a resounding echo of affirmation. By embracing silence about our deepest aspirations, we commit to an act of faith in ourselves and the power of our dreams. This commitment, far from being a burden, becomes our lighthouse, guiding us through the shadows toward the dawn of our success. Thus, as we consider the sacred nature of our long-term goals, we embark on a journey of personal growth that values depth over disclosure, reflection over revelation. In this sacred space of silence, our goals are not only protected from outside influences, but are also nourished by the rich soil of our inner being, blossoming into manifestations of our true essence and purpose in life. Thing number 2. Personal challenges. In the vast ocean of existence, each of us sails in our own boat, facing storms and tides that challenge our resilience and determination. Personal challenges, those unforeseen and sometimes overwhelming waves, are inherent to the human journey. But what happens when we choose to share every detail of these storms with others? Does this openness strengthen us, or does it make us more vulnerable to being swept away by foreign currents? The decision to share or withhold information about our personal challenges is comparable to the choice of when to raise the sails in the middle of a gale. Sometimes revealing our struggles can attract helping hands willing to help steady our ship. However, other times, making our challenges public can invite unwanted winds that blow in counterproductive directions, scattering our energy and diluting our focus. Herein lies the importance of discerning when to share and when to remain silent, a delicate balance that every boater must learn to manage. Let us consider, then, the analogy of the gardener and his young plants, facing the rigor of the climate. Just as the gardener protects his most fragile shoots with a greenhouse, sheltering them until they are strong enough to withstand the outside world, we too can choose to protect our personal challenges from scrutiny and outside influences until we have found our own strength and solutions. This is not an invitation to isolate ourselves in our difficulties, but a call to wisely select those to whom we open ourselves, seeking genuine support rather than an audience for our storms. Now, I invite you to a guided reflection. Think about a personal challenge you have recently faced. Did sharing it widely bring you the solution and support you needed, or did it result in unsolicited advice and opinions that complicated your emotions and decisions? The wisdom of this experience lies in recognizing that, just as in nature, there is a time for exposure and a time for shelter. In sharing, we seek those whose understanding and empathy can offer us refuge and guidance, rather than exposing us to storms of judgment and misunderstanding. This selective approach toward our personal challenges also teaches us about the importance of self-confidence and self-dependence. By facing our internal storms, we cultivate a strength that is intrinsically ours, a solidity that does not waver at the first gust of contrary wind. This process of internal growth, where challenges become opportunities to strengthen and learn, is where true victory would lie, beyond solving the problem itself. So, the next time you face a personal challenge, I encourage you to consider not only the nature of the problem, but also the environment in which you choose to share it. Remember that, like the captain who knows the waters he navigates, your knowledge of yourself and your needs is your most reliable compass. Choose to share your challenges with those who respect your journey, offer light in the darkness, and, above all, those who help you stay the course toward your true north. In conclusion, personal challenges, although universal in their existence, are unique in their impact and management. Through the navigator analogy and guided reflection, we explore the complexity of sharing our struggles. By embracing both our vulnerability and our strength, we learn to navigate the sea of life with wisdom, carefully choosing our confidence as we select the sails to face the coming storms, always with an eye toward the stars that guide our path to salvation. Self-realization and personal growth. Thing number 3. Insecurities and fears. We all carry within us a chest of insecurities and fears, those whispering voices that tell us about doubts and limitations. However, what we choose to do with that chest can define the course of our lives. As we consider whether or not to share these vulnerable aspects of our being, we face a crossroads that can take us down very different paths. Imagine, if you will, the story of a young musician full of passion but plagued by doubts about his talent. Every note he played was followed by the shadow of fear of failure. At a crucial moment, he decided to share his insecurities with a mentor, who, through his wisdom and experience, showed him that even the greatest artists faced similar fears. This revelation acted as the first chip in a series of domino effects. The young man began to see his insecurities not as barriers, but as steps towards his growth. Her story is a reminder that selectively sharing our fears with the right people can transform our insecurities into sources of strength. However, this ripple effect can flow in both directions. Let us now imagine that the same young man had shared his fears with someone less understanding, someone who, instead of encouraging, had fueled those doubts. This action could have triggered a chain of events that led him to abandon his passion, demonstrating how choosing confidences can drastically alter our trajectory. Deciding when and with whom we share our fears and insecurities is therefore crucial. Like a gardener deciding when is the best time to transplant a young plant outside, we must carefully evaluate the environment and conditions before exposing our vulnerabilities. This is not an invitation to perpetual silence, but a call for the strategic selection of our confidants, those who, like fertile soil, can nourish us and help us grow. On this journey, we encounter the question, how do we know when and with whom to share? The answer can be found in introspection and observation. Like the young musician, we look for signs of understanding and empathy, choosing to share our internal struggles with those who have proven to be pillars of support and guides in times of uncertainty. By embracing our insecurities and bravely facing our fears, we not only transform our relationship with ourselves, but we also influence how we navigate the world. This internal transformation has the power to trigger a ripple effect in all areas of our lives, from our personal relationships to our professional aspirations. By strategically sharing these aspects of our being, we can begin a chain of growth, improvement and, ultimately, success. The story of the young musician, along with the concept of the domino effect, teaches us that our insecurities and fears, although universal, do not need to define us. Rather, by wisely choosing how and with whom we share them, we can turn our vulnerabilities into advantages, marking the beginning of a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. In this process, we learn that every step we take, every fear we face, and every insecurity we selectively share, can be the catalyst for a future filled with music and symphonies yet unwritten, waiting to be discovered by those brave enough to play the first note. Thing number 4. Plans for change or personal improvement. In the great theater of life, each of us plays multiple roles, from apprentice to teacher, dreamer to achiever. In this continually changing scenario, plans for change or personal improvement are like the script we decide to write and rewrite in our search for growth and authenticity. But what happens when we share the draft of this script with the public too soon? Let's imagine, for a moment, that our life is a play in which we are rehearsing a piece that is not yet ready to be presented. Every change or improvement we want to implement is like a developing scene, delicate and open to interpretation. By prematurely sharing these scenes with the world, we risk criticism that can not only demotivate us but also divert us from our original vision. The allegory of theater invites us to consider the importance of preparing and maturing our plans before exposing them to the light of public scrutiny. As the Roman philosopher Seneca said, the lamp should not be shown to others before it has acquired a stable flame. This quote encapsulates the essence of saving our plans for change or personal improvement until they are solid enough to withstand the gusts of other people's opinions. The story of every great inventor or thinker who jealously guarded his ideas until they were ready to be shared serves as a testament to the power of patience and discretion. These historical figures, many of whom faced misunderstanding and rejection, remind us that the true value of a plan lies not in external validation, but in the authenticity and impact it can have once it has been fully developed. In this process of growth and change, each of us must learn to be both the director and the critic of our own work. This involves cultivating an internal space where we can experiment, fail, and learn without fear of judgment. Like a secret garden where young plants are protected until they are strong enough to flourish, our self-improvement plans need a supportive and secure environment to take root. The next time you find yourself on the threshold of significant change or at the beginning of a path of personal improvement, remember the allegory of theater and the wisdom of Seneca. Consider the value of holding your plans close to your heart, allowing them to mature in the privacy of your own being until they are ready to face the world. This approach will not only protect you from demotivating influences, but will also allow you to present to the world a work of art that is truly yours, a narrative of change and growth that you have directed with care, patience, and determination. Plans for change or personal improvement are precious elements of our individual evolution. By choosing wisely when and how we share these aspects of our development, we ensure that when we finally raise the curtain, our performance is not only authentic and true to our vision, but also has the power to inspire and resonate deeply with our audience. In this theater of life, every step we take toward change and improvement is a valuable contribution to the ever-evolving masterpiece that is our existence. Thing number 5. Criticisms or complaints about your work. Over the course of our careers, we inevitably encounter situations that test our patience, our resilience, and our ability to maintain a positive outlook. Criticism or complaints about our work, when handled incorrectly, can become quicksand that threatens to swallow us, undermining our confidence and well-being. However, by carefully choosing how and with whom we share these experiences, we can transform them into opportunities for growth and learning. Let's take the real case of two colleagues in the same work environment, facing similar criticism about their performance. The first, Alejandro, chose to openly share his frustrations and the criticism he received with several co-workers, seeking comfort and validation. While the second, Beatriz, decided to address the criticism privately, reflecting on it and seeking advice only from a trusted mentor outside the work environment. The contrast in the results of their actions is revealing. Alejandro, although initially relieved by sharing his discontent, soon discovered that his approach had led to a tense work environment, with colleagues perceiving his complaints as negativity and unprofessionalism. This perception not only affected the dynamics of his team, but also undermined his professional reputation, hindering his ability to overcome the feedback he received in a constructive manner. On the other hand, Beatriz experienced a noticeably different outcome. By choosing a more reserved and constructive path, he not only managed to maintain the integrity of his professional relationships, but also found in his mentor's advice a valuable perspective that allowed him to proactively address criticism. This approach not only helped her improve her performance, but also strengthened her resilience to future challenges, making her a respected leader within her team. The telling of these real cases underscores a fundamental truth: the way we choose to handle and share criticism or complaints about our work has profound implications, not only for our personal and professional growth, but also for the atmosphere and culture of our environment. Labor. The contrast between Alejandro and Beatrice's experiences illustrates how discretion and seeking constructive advice can turn potentially negative situations into stepping stones to success. This analysis invites us to reflect on our own reactions to criticism. Do we opt for immediate relief, exposing our insecurities and discontents to those around us, or do we seek to transform feedback into a tool for our development? Beatrice's choice to confront criticism thoughtfully and selectively highlights the importance of cultivating trusting relationships and seeking guidance from those whose experience and perspective can guide us toward meaningful improvement. As we navigate the complexities of the world of work, facing criticism and challenges, let us remember that the power to transform these experiences into opportunities for growth lies in our hands. By choosing to share our worries and frustrations wisely, we not only protect our peace of mind and professional relationships, but we also open doors to enriched personal and professional development. Alejandro and Beatrice's story teaches us that, in the art of handling criticism, discretion, a constructive approach and the choice of our confidence can make the difference between staying stuck and moving forward with confidence towards our goals. Thing number 6. Personal financial details. In the labyrinth of modern life, where personal finances become intricately intertwined with the perception of success, stability, and even identity itself, the decision of whether or not to share personal financial details stands as a living paradox. On the one hand, transparency can build bonds of trust and offer opportunities for mutual advice and support. On the other, it can open the door to judgment, envy, and undue vulnerability. Here lies the central paradox: sharing can both unite us and separate us, depending on how, when, and with whom. Let's consider the before and after comparison in the life of Carla, an entrepreneur whose personal story illustrates this duality. Before finding success, Carla was open about her financial struggles, seeking advice and support from her inner circle. This transparency not only provided him with valuable insights but also strengthened his relationships, creating a support network that would be critical to his eventual success. However, once Carla achieved a notable improvement in her financial situation, she opted for greater secrecy about her financial details. Experience had taught him that while sharing his initial challenges was supportive, openly discussing his newfound prosperity could lead to less positive dynamics. This change reflects a deep understanding of human nature and the paradox of financial intimacy. What once served to build bridges, in a new context, could erect barriers. Carla's story invites us to reflect on our own choices when it comes to sharing personal financial information. We find ourselves navigating waters that are both intimate and exposed, where each decision to share or withhold can have profound ramifications on our relationships and our perception of security and privacy. The paradox of financial transparency is that while we seek connection and community, we must also protect our autonomy and respect personal boundaries. In this balance, it is essential to recognize that not all truths need to be shared with everyone and that wisdom lies in discerning when and with whom to open our financial doors. Carla's evolution from complete openness to selective discretion underscores the importance of adapting our approach to personal finances as our circumstances change. What begins as a need for advice and support can transform into a desire for privacy and protection. This flexibility, far from being a sign of inconsistency, is a testament to personal growth and conscious adaptation to the complexities of life. The decision to share personal financial details embodies a rich and multifaceted paradox, offering both risks and rewards. Through Carla's story and the exploration of paradox and before and after comparisons, we are prompted to more deeply consider our own sharing practices. On this journey, the key is not to avoid paradox, but to embrace it, allowing ourselves to navigate the waters of financial intimacy with a firm rudder of self-knowledge, discretion, and the search for a balance that honors both our needs for connection and privacy. Thing number 7. Controversial political or religious opinions. In human coexistence, political or religious opinions can unite or divide us. The decision to share these opinions is like opening a window to the winds of controversy. It can refresh the dialogue or unleash storms. What happens when we throw these opinions into the air, like carrier pigeons in an uncertain sky? Will they be carriers of messages of understanding or precursors of conflict? The hyperbole here is not just a figure of speech, it is a reflection of the intensity and fire that these opinions can ignite in the agora of our interactions. Let us consider, then, a sequence of questions and answers that might arise in this context. Is it wise to freely share our deepest convictions in every conversation, or should we carefully select the time and place? Can we find common ground in mutual respect, even in diverging beliefs? Is it possible that, by withholding our opinions in certain circles, we contribute to a climate of tolerance and understanding? Conventional wisdom suggests that politics and religion are taboo topics at the dinner table, but this guide is not limited to family gatherings. In the workplace, on social media, and even among friends, the choice of whether or not to share our controversial opinions can be as strategic as it is sincere. The key is not to suppress our voice, but to recognize the power these words have to build bridges or erect walls. In the end, the decision to share our political or religious opinions must be guided not only by the courage of our convictions, but also by the wisdom of our empathy. In a world that often feels polarized to the breaking point, perhaps our greatest challenge is not so much to speak with courage, but to listen with an equal measure of courage. Instead of seeing this restriction as a gag, we can see it as an opportunity to practice the art of mindful conversation. By choosing when and how to express our most divisive opinions, we become masters in the art of communication, learning when a silence can be more eloquent than a shout and when a soft word can disarm the strongest defenses. Thus, when contemplating the dissemination of our political or religious opinions, we find ourselves at a crossroads of self-expression and social responsibility. At this intersection, each choice to share or withhold carries with it the weight of possible repercussion, but also the light of possible understanding. In this delicate balance, we can find not only the affirmation of our individual identity but also the fabric of a more cohesive and tolerant community. The final reflection, then, is not whether or not we should share, but how and when we do it, choosing our moments with the precision of a gardener who knows when a plant needs sun and when it needs shade. By consciously managing our political and religious opinions, we can cultivate a garden of dialogue where, even in diversity of thought, unity of respect flourishes. Thing number 8. Details of your daily routine. Life, with its intricate weaving of moments and movements, resembles a constant dance between light and shadow. Our daily routine, those steps we take from dawn to dusk, is a personal choreography that defines and differentiates us. But what happens when we decide to share every beat and every step of this dance with the world? Let's imagine for a moment that our existence is a river. Every day, a drop of water that adds to the flow, carrying with it stories, dreams and challenges. This river flows under the light of the sun and the shadow of the clouds, sculpting the landscape of our lives with each curve and each drop. Sharing the details of our daily routine is like inviting others to sail with us, to see the world through our waters. However, herein lies a visual metaphor. Not all sailors are suited to understanding the depth of our currents or the strength of our tides. Some may see only the surface, interpreting our calm waters as lack of depth or our rapids as unmanageable chaos. In this internal dialogue we have about what to share and what to retain, we ask ourselves, does this openness enrich our journey, or does it leave us vulnerable to the elements? The decision to reveal the nuances of our daily routine is, at its core, a balancing act between authenticity and protection. It is consciously choosing which parts of our river to show and which to keep hidden under the shade of the trees that line its banks. This selection process is a delicate dance with ourselves, a recognition that while some truths forge connections, others deserve to be kept as personal sanctuaries. In this flow of life, each of us is both the river and the navigator. Through the internal dialogues that drive our decisions, we learn that it is not the quantity of water we reveal that matters, but the quality of the streams we choose to share. Those that reflect our essence, our moments of serenity and our battles against the rapids, are those that truly connect us with those capable of appreciating the depth of our journey. Sharing the details of our daily routine is an intimate act of trust and vulnerability. Through the visual metaphor of the river and the internal dialogue that guides our choices, we realize that true connection arises not from indiscriminate exposure, but from selective revelation. By choosing which parts of our daily dance to show to the world, we not only protect our integrity, but we also invite others to join us in a more meaningful dance, one that resonates with the truth of who we are, in stillness and in the movement, in light and in shadow. Thing number 9. Judgments or assumptions about strangers. In the vast garden of society, each individual is like a unique flower, growing in conditions and contexts that vary enormously from one to another. Like a botanist approaching an unknown plant, our interaction with strangers comes loaded with curiosity, wonder, and sometimes caution. However, the act of making judgments or assumptions about these unknowns is like trying to identify a flower based solely on the soil in which it grows, without considering the countless variables that contribute to its true essence. The human tendency to quickly categorize people into compartments based on superficial perceptions is an analogy to the gardener who judges the potential of a seed merely by its shell, ignoring the diversity and richness that lies within. This process, although often automatic and subconscious, limits our ability to appreciate the complexity and depth inherent in each human being. Consider the story of a person who, after a brief encounter, is labeled as distant or cold. This quick judgment, based on superficial interaction, is like crossing a river on barely visible stones. It offers a limited and potentially misleading perception of the vastness that lies beneath. However, if you take the time to build a bridge, exploring with patience and empathy, you might discover that the supposed distance was actually a form of shyness or a response to past experiences. This act of moving from assumption to understanding is similar to a gardener learning to grow a variety of plants. It requires patience, observation, and an openness to surprise and awe at the revelations that time and attention can unearth. By giving up premature labels, we open the door to richer, more meaningful relationships, where people's true stories can blossom before us, unfolding petals of experiences, dreams, and struggles that previously went unnoticed. The lesson here is clear: just like gardening, the art of getting to know others requires more than a superficial evaluation. It requires the careful cultivation of curiosity and understanding, a process that transforms both the observer and the observed. In this garden of human interactions, each encounter is an opportunity to learn, grow, and appreciate the diversity and beauty that each individual brings to the collective tapestry of our experience. As we reflect on how we approach strangers and the assumptions we make, we are invited to adopt a posture of humility and openness. Like a botanist marveling at the diversity of the plant kingdom, we can learn to approach each new person with a mix of curiosity and respect, recognizing that behind each unknown face lies a universe of stories waiting to be discovered. This approach, enriched by similes and analogies that highlight our fundamental connection to nature and to each other, guides us toward a deeper, more empathetic understanding of complex human beauty. If this video has given you something new, if it has made you think or feel differently, help us to continue growing by subscribing, leaving your like and activating the bell. This helps us to continue growing and be able to generate more quality content for well-being of everyone. On the vast canvas of our existence, every brushstroke of decision, every color of experience, and every shadow of doubt or light of clarity contributes to the masterpiece that is our life. We navigate the river of time, facing rapids and backwaters, learning to flow with the current and paddle hard when necessary. We realize that every choice, whether sharing a secret or keeping it close to our heart, paints unique shades on the mural of our personal journey. As we move forward on this path, full of infinite possibilities and divergent paths, let us remember that we have the power to sculpt our destiny with the tools of our will, our actions, and our words. We are equipped not only to face the challenges before us, but also to transform them into stepping stones to higher versions of ourselves. May each day find us brave to face the unknown, open to learn from each encounter and each farewell, and wise to recognize the moments in which sharing means multiplying our joy and the moments in which silence is the space where our most germinate. Profound revelations. Our life is a constantly evolving narrative, a story we are writing with every breath, every laugh, and every tear. This is the closing of our chapter today, but not the end of our story. Each morning offers us a new blank page, waiting to be filled with the dreams and challenges of the day. Let us move forward, with hearts full of gratitude for the past, excitement for the present, and hope for the future, weaving the fabric of our lives with every conscious thought, every kind word, and every act of bravery. May our legacy be a brighter world, woven with the golden threads of our shared humanity. If you liked this video and want to continue deepening your knowledge about Stoicism and strengthening your abilities to handle life's challenges with wisdom and balance, I have a special recommendation for you. Click on the following video that we have selected especially for you. You'll find more tips, strategies, and reflections to help you apply Stoic principles in your daily life. See you there, dear Stoic.